difícil porque hay cosas que no entiendo y hay cosas que quiero decir, pero no puedo porque no sé el idioma.
So I had an idea about the life of the non-English speakers in high school, when everything around them is a different language from the one they know. This is a small documentary about how non-English speaker lives. I had a few guests to respond some of my questions and few students to explain and express how they feel and how it's life in a different environment. And here the story begins. This is Mr. Hoover, the ESL teacher. He explains how it is to work with non-English speakers.
I love teaching ESL. I've been doing it for almost 10 years now, and I would not want to have it any other way. I love a class with a diverse group of students. I love learning about their culture, and I love to help them to adapt to this culture, so in order to be, as successful as possible after high school.
And how do you deal with the concept that each student can be of a different culture and different part of the world?
I think that brings a lot to the classroom, that multicultural classroom that students can, just like I learn from my students and they learn from me, I think that allows all of the students to learn about everybody else's culture. As far as ESL is concerned, different languages, it's not a bilingual class, it's an ESL class, so we don't have to worry about what are the different languages because the same strategies can work for everybody.
You can change anything about the ESL program to better support students. What would you change and why?
The one thing that I do think would benefit students would be for them to have more support in other classes. As far as sheltered instruction classes, at least in their core classes, in their history class, in their math classes, in their even their electives, but especially their core classes, if they were to have more dedicated ESL teachers for subjects other than just English.
Here we have a student of Mr. Hoover, and his name is Andres, and he gives some detail of how is his life in high school.
Que no es mi lengua principal, sino es el español, ya que es un poco difícil, alterno. En fin, me puedo comunicar a veces con un traductor o hay profesores que hablan español y pues ellos me pueden... A veces me toca un poco difícil, pero solo uso el traductor a veces para entender o comunicarme.
I had the opportunity to interview Miss Puga, and she gives her thoughts about how is the life of a non-English speaker in a USA high school.
And it is, what percentage of the student population do you think that English is the second language?
What percentage of the student population do I think English is the second language? I'm going to shoot out a number, and I think it's higher than this. I want to say about 45%.
25%.
I think they do struggle, and they struggle a lot more than just English-speaking students.
English-speaking students, and not only about Spanish speakers, but about different kids of the world that they talk Chinese or other language.
Yeah, I definitely think that they struggle when they're trying to get assimilated to students who only know English. I know sometimes with me, I'm able to explain something in Spanish, and in my head it takes a while for it to translate into English, and then when I do say it in English, I'm like, that doesn't really sound correct. There's not always those words that sound the same, so I can only imagine how difficult it is for individuals that speak other languages.
Yeah.
I think they help themselves by relying on visuals, right? They try to understand the context that they're in based off of the things that are around them, right? Tone is a big thing. So even if somebody were to come in here, and I'm not fluent in Portuguese or anything, right? But I'm able to kind of pick up on some words because of my Spanish. But if somebody who speaks, I don't know, Chinese comes in here and they start getting mad at me and they start pointing their finger at me, then I can tell that they're mad. And now do I know what they're saying? Probably not. But their tone would give me a lot of insight. Yeah, and also I think the context of things, right? If we're at school, they're going to probably talk to me a little bit quieter. If we're outside, they're going to be a little bit louder. So just mannerisms, how they act, maybe if I don't know what they're saying, but I can kind of see how they're acting. I think that's how Spanish speakers kind of help themselves.
Cuando tus amigos no están en clase, ¿cómo le haces para hacer tus tareas?
Pues la verdad solo me quedo callado porque me da pena pedir la ayuda a los niños que saben inglés.
Mr. Martin, one of the principals of Luke High School, gives some of his thoughts of the non-English speakers in Luke High School.
When it comes to that, it comes to language barriers. Yeah, I think teachers are prepared based off of their individual cultural backgrounds and whether or not they've had experience in working in or living in diverse cultural backgrounds. So I think it doesn't begin and end there, but I think there's a heavy influence with whether or not teachers have been exposed to those different diverse cultural backgrounds and their upbringing and where they've worked in their past and as they transition into becoming a teacher. I would say that when you come into places like Lubbock High that are extremely diverse, if you haven't learned, the cultures of different people and learns how to interact with others from different cultures, if you get to a place like Lubbock High, it's somewhere where you're going to learn very quickly that we're a very diverse population, and to be a very successful teacher here, you've got to be able to connect with students and understand that our students are extremely diverse from different cultural backgrounds, and so you've got to be able to build those relationships by making things relevant to them, and it's very important that you understand how to make things culturally relevant.
Here's another student, Mr. Hoover.
Pues primero te tienes que acostumbrar porque independientemente de la escuela el idioma es otro y es por lo mismo de que la escuela y las personas son muy diferentes, pues sí me costó mucho adaptarme. Estaba tratando de aprender lo básico del inglés y pues observar y al mismo tiempo escuchar, porque esa es mi manera más fácil de entender las cosas. Estaba intentando hacer amigas que hablen inglés porque así siento que se me facilita más rápido aprenderlo y hablarlo.
Pedro, one of my guests, has explained through the video how he feels in high school as a non-English speaker. Si hubiera una forma de ayudarte, ¿cómo sería?
Pues quisiera que hubieran unos programas para más traducción y que me ayude a entender más inglés.
The purpose of this video is not to offend anyone, it's just to show how non-English speakers struggle. And I'm not only referring to Hispanics, I am referring to everyone from different countries of the world. And I didn't have that much guests, so I couldn't include the people of different culture. But the message of this video is to understand that language barriers can be a problem sometimes for the education of some of the students of a high school. And I would like for my audience and for the people to know how it is for a non-English speaker in high school. This is Luke High School, and I'm Jose Manuel.